Hello, everybody. Welcome to the fourth episode of the Business of the Football series. I remain your host, Chidi Jamal. So, today we're going to be talking about the subject matter of audience in relationship to sponsorship. Stay tuned as we dive in. In our last episode, it was introduction to sponsorship. And while discussing about sponsorship, we talked about relationship, we talked about audience, and we talked about activation. And we say that these are very, very important in sponsorship discourse, especially when it comes to closing sponsorship. Now, for me, when you're rating those information, when you're rating those in sponsorship, how we go audience first, relationship, activation, and ROI. Why audience? Because audience is the most important asset when it comes to sponsorship discourse. So today, why is it important for we to have adequate information regarding our audience? Why is understanding audience very, very important in the success of a sponsorship deal? Now, in negotiation, in proposal, it is very important to understand that in as much as you have other assets which you are going to use in your proposal writing, the most important asset in all of those assets is your audience. And the most important asset that every sponsor is paying for is your audience. So, having an adequate knowledge about them will position you rightly and will also help your sponsors understand who they are dealing with. So what do we mean? What information are we talking about? You need to understand the demographics of your audience. Now, you when I talk about audience, it literally means those people that follows and aligns with your projects. Sometimes you call them fans. So those are your audience. People, not just followers, not just numbers. I'm talking about people who are willing to make a decision because you ask them to do that. People who are willing to make a purchase because it aligns with your brand. These are your audience. Your audience are much more bigger than just followers. There are people who are willing to go through a process with you. So those are the people that the sponsors are willing to, you know, tap into because they know because of you they are willing to make a buying decision. Now, when we look at the demographics talks about the age, the people, where they are, where they stay. So you need to know those basic informations about your audience. Not just having the demographics, you should also go even more detailed to understand the purchasing power of your audience, their income capacity, how much do they earn, how much do they how much do they spend. So these are the things you need to know about your audience. And aside from knowing their purchasing capacity, you need to understand their purchasing behavior, which goes into psychographics. You do not just stop in knowing the age, the gender. You should also understand the purchasing behavior of your audience. How do they buy in the period at which those people have been with you? What have been their behavior towards the project, towards the club, towards the academy, or towards the tournament? Have you done something that made them to make a decision? For instance, I know of a tournament where a particular bank sponsored, and what they did was they ensured that all participants of that tournament opened a bank. So not just participants of the tournament, they ensure that parents, fans, communities tap into that activation as well. They open bank accounts for their fans and followers and their audience. So that is a perfect example that when you introduce a thing, that your audience are willing to back it up, your audience are willing to accept it. And last week we talked about brand alignment in the sense that you must understand your audience for you to know the kind of sponsors to reach out to. And this is where it matters. If you do not know your audience properly, if you do not understand the behaviors of your audience, you will keep having misalignment because you will secure sponsorship that in activation will not bear much fruits from your audience because your audience do not align with such a brand. When you have a Gen Z kind of audience, and you are bringing a brand that is more classical of old fashioned, it becomes misalignment because your Gen Zs might not be able to participate in the activation opportunities because there is not alignment. And also, it might affect sales because these people might not end up becoming customers. But when you bring up things oh, that aligns with your audience, probably their needs, their pain points, their problem, then it's easier for that alignment to occur. So your audience determine the kind of sponsor you should seek. And also your audience will also determine your pricing valuation when dealing with sponsors. Because the question would be, if it's in alignment, if your audience is the kind of audience that the sponsors want to reach out to, the question will now boil down to how much does it cost for this sponsor to acquire a particular person. When you are running ads online, you will understand the CPCs. How much does it cost to acquire a quality lead to your business? How much does it takes to acquire a quality lead that will convert to a customer? So these are how you make your valuation. So if you have 1,000 quality audience or 1,000 quality uh, fans that can translate to potential or prospective customers to your sponsors, then you know how to place your charge. You know where to increase your fee. Because right now, the audience are in alignment with the sponsor. But it becomes difficult for you to price rightly when you do not understand your audience. Imagine someone goes to buy a product, a phone product, and you are asking the seller, okay, what is the battery capacity of this phone? They tell you they don't know. What is the uh, camera capacity of the phone? They don't know. At that moment, the buyer can easily look at the phone and devalue it because you, the seller, don't even understand the kind of product you have. But when you have a proper knowledge of the product you have, you will now understand the value of that product. So you do not undersell it, you sell it at the right proportion or at the right value that it contains because you now have a proper understanding of what the product is. That is how it comes to your asset, which is your audience. Having adequate information, adequate knowledge of your audience will help your sponsorship valuation. I hope we've learned something today. In your quest to secure sponsorship, ensure you know your audience. This is your favorite host, Chidi Jamal. See you in the next episode.